Chief Morgan, are those special packages we deployed on the way in still active? Morgan checked his console. Yes, Captain. All 12 automated defense platforms are in position and awaiting activation. Blackwood smiled. Unmute the channel. When Zex's face reappeared, Blackwood continued. Supreme Arbiter, I'm sending you something. More threats? Zex asked. No. Our history. Blackwood nodded to Rodriguez, who began the transmission. Not just our wars, but our music, our art, our literature, the full complexity of humanity. As the data streamed to the Virax ship, Blackwood quietly ordered, Morgan, prepare to activate the defense platforms on my mark. Lieutenant Ortiz, plot a course through the gap that will open in their formation. On screen, Zex seemed to be reviewing the human cultural data. This changes nothing. Your violence outweighs any cultural achievements. Then you leave us no choice, Blackwood said. Mark. Around the Virax ships, 12 small platforms suddenly activated. They fired concentrated energy beams at the exact frequency that disrupted crystalline technology. The Virax ship's weapons and shields flickered. Now, Blackwood ordered. The Defiant surged forward, its engines at maximum power. The Krell ship followed close behind. They shot through the gap in the Virax formation, just as the alien ships began to recover. They're pursuing, Rodriguez reported. And they're calling for reinforcements. Dr. Powell entered the bridge, still looking weak but determined. Captain, there's something you should know. While I was their prisoner, I learned about a weakness in their fleet coordination. Their ships communicate through a specific frequency that helps them move as one. If we could disrupt that frequency, Engineer Delgado began. We could confuse their formations, Blackwood finished. Rodriguez, can you isolate it? Working on it, sir. The Defiant raced through space, the Virax ships in close pursuit. Lieutenant Rodriguez worked frantically at his console. Got it. He finally called out, sending the frequency to weapons control. Morgan adjusted the Defiant's main weapons. Ready, Captain. Fire. The Defiant fired a wide beam pulse. It didn't damage the Virax ships, but their perfect formation immediately fell apart. 2 ships nearly collided as their coordination failed. It worked, Powell exclaimed. The confused Virax fleet gave the Defiant and the Krell ship the time they needed to reach the jump point. As they prepared to activate their faster-than-light drives, one final transmission came through from Supreme Arbiter Zex. This isn't over, humans. The Concord will not allow such defiance. You're right, Blackwood replied. It's not over. We'll be back, not to fight, but to talk. Next time, though, remember what you learned today. Humans aren't just violent. We're resourceful, determined, and we protect our own. The Defiant and the Krell ship jumped to faster-than-light travel, disappearing from Virax sensors. 3 weeks later, Commander Allison Grant stood in the Earth Council chamber. The rescued scientists were recovering well. Dr. Powell had already begun working with Earth scientists to develop new defenses based on what he had learned. The Virax will return, Grant told the Council. But thanks to Captain Blackwood, we've gained time and knowledge. And more importantly, we've gained allies. She gestured to Vex Troll, who now stood as the first official Krell ambassador to Earth. Together, Vex Troll told the Council, we can build a different kind of galactic community. Not one based on fear and control, but on mutual respect and the right to be different. Grant looked out at the stars through the chamber's large window. The Defiant was out there, seeking other species who had suffered under the Concord's rule. A new alliance was forming, and at its heart was humanity, unpredictable, stubborn, and ready for whatever challenges the galaxy might bring. The Defiant moved into position behind a small moon, hiding from the station's sensors. On the bridge, Weapons Officer Morgan made final adjustments to the special disruptor beam they had created based on Dr. Powell's data. Ready, Captain, Morgan reported. The beam is calibrated to the exact frequency that should overload their crystalline systems. Blackwood nodded. On my mark. Lieutenant Rodriguez, notify Vextral that we're about to begin. In the shuttle bay, Blackwood's rescue team made final preparations. Security Officer Kelly checked each weapon one last time. Remember, she told the team, these won't kill a Virax, just stun them temporarily. We're not starting a war today. Dr. Washington studied her tablet, reviewing the station layout. The prisoners should be on Level 3, Section C. Once we free them, we'll need to move quickly to the extraction point. Blackwood's voice came over the comm system. Boarding teams, prepare for launch. Operation begins in 60 seconds. The Defiant moved out from behind the moon, still cloaked. It approached the station from below, where the sensor coverage was weakest. When they were in position, Blackwood gave the order. Fire the disruptor. A bright blue beam shot from the Defiant, striking the station at its power core. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the lights across the station flickered and went out. Direct hit, Morgan called out. Their systems are failing. Backup power will engage in approximately 10 minutes. Launch shuttles now, Blackwood ordered. 2 small craft left the Defiant, heading for different docking ports on the darkened station. Inside the human shuttle, Blackwood's team held on as the pilot navigated through debris. Their defenses are completely down, the pilot reported. Docking in 30 seconds. The shuttle attached to an emergency airlock. Kelly attached a device to the outer door, and it slid open despite the power failure. The team moved into the station, using small lights attached to their uniforms. Inside, the station was in chaos. Emergency lights cast an eerie red glow over everything. Virax personnel ran through the corridors, trying to restore systems. Most didn't even notice the human team slipping through the shadows. Following Dr. Washington's directions, they made their way to Level 3. They encountered 2 Virax guards outside Section C. Before the aliens could react, Kelly fired her stun weapon. Both guards collapsed to the floor. They'll be unconscious for about 20 minutes, Kelly said, stepping over the fallen guards. Blackwood used a portable device to override the door lock. Inside, they found rows of clear cells. Each contained a human scientist, connected to various machines. All the equipment was now dark due to the power failure. Dr. Powell, Washington called out, rushing to one of the cells. The scientist was slumped in a chair, his eyes half open. Blackwood and his team quickly opened each cell, disconnecting the scientists from the machines. Most were conscious but confused. Dr. Powell recognized Blackwood as the captain helped him to his feet. "Captain, you came," Powell said weakly. "They've been trying to reprogram us, make us reject our own nature." "Did it work?" Blackwood asked, supporting the scientist. Powell managed a small smile. Humans are more stubborn than they expected. Suddenly, alarms began to sound. Rodriguez's voice came through Blackwood's communicator. "Captain, the Virax have detected us. Their backup systems are coming online faster than we predicted. 3 Virax warships have just appeared on our sensors. Time to go," Blackwood told his team. "Kelly, help the scientists. We need to move now." They hurried back toward the shuttle, helping the weakened scientists. Along the way, they met Vextral and his Krell fighters, who had also freed their prisoners. "Captain Blackwood," Vextral greeted him. "We must hurry. The station commander has activated the self-destruct sequence." They reached the shuttles just as Virax security forces appeared at the end of the corridor. Energy weapons fired, striking the wall near them. Kelly returned fire, covering their retreat. "Everyone on board," Blackwood ordered. The rescued scientists stumbled into the shuttle, followed by the rescue team. As the door closed, a blast hit Kelly in the shoulder. She fell, but Blackwood caught her and pulled her inside. "Go," he shouted to the pilot. The shuttle detached from the station as explosions began to rock the structure. The shuttle raced back toward the Defiant, with the Krell shuttle close behind. On the Defiant's bridge, Lieutenant Ortiz watched in alarm as the Virax warships closed in. "Captain," she reported, "we're surrounded." A strange alien face appeared on the main screen of the Defiant. The Krell had gray-green skin with ridge-like patterns and 4 eyes set in a diamond shape. When it spoke, its voice was deep and rumbling. "Human vessel, I am Commander Vextrol of the Krell Resistance. We detected your ship using our deep space sensors." Blackwood stepped forward. "I'm Captain Ryan Blackwood of Earth. How did you find us?" "We're using a cloaking system." "A good system, but not perfect," Vextrol replied. "We have been hiding from the Concord for many years. We know how to spot others who hide." Dr. Washington moved beside Blackwood. "The Virax records mentioned your species. They said you were eliminated." The Krell made a sound like rough laughter. "They believe so. They destroyed our homeworld 15 years ago, but some of us escaped. We have been fighting them ever since." "Fighting?" Blackwood asked. "How many ships do you have?" "Just this one now. The others were destroyed in our last attempt to free our people from a Concord facility." Vextrol leaned closer to the screen. "The same facility where they now hold your scientists." Blackwood and Washington exchanged looks. "How do you know about our scientists?" Blackwood asked. "We monitor all Concord communications. We saw what they did to your female scientist. The Concord does this to show their power." Vextrol's 4 eyes blinked in sequence. "We propose an alliance. Together, we might succeed where separately we would fail." Blackwood considered this offer. Lieutenant Rodriguez cut the transmission for a moment. The screen went blank, and Blackwood turned to his officers. "Thoughts?" "Could be a trap," Security Officer Kelly said immediately. "The Virax might be using them to find us." "Possible," Dr. Washington acknowledged, "but unlikely. The Krell were described in Virax records as successfully eliminated. The Concord would never admit some survived. It would damage their image of perfection." "I say we trust them," Engineer Delgado added. "We could use the help." Blackwood nodded. Rodriguez reopened the channel. When the Krell commander reappeared, Blackwood said, "We accept your offer of alliance. Commander Vextrol, can you share what you know about the facility?" The Krell sent over detailed scans and security information. The 2 ships continued toward the research station, maintaining communication through a secure channel. Lieutenant Ortiz studied the Krell data carefully. "Captain, they've provided a route through the sensor gaps around the station. It's risky, but possible. The biggest challenge will be inside," Kelly pointed out, looking at the facility schematics. "The prisoners are kept in the central laboratory, heavily guarded." Blackwood turned to Weapons Officer Morgan. "What about those weak points in their security system that Dr. Powell mentioned in his transmission?" "I've analyzed them," Morgan replied. "Their crystalline technology is powerful but unstable when exposed to certain energy frequencies. We could use that to create a temporary disruption in their systems." "How temporary?" Blackwood asked. "Maybe 10 minutes before their backups activate." Blackwood studied the station layout. 10 minutes isn't much time. We'll need to split into teams." He turned to the screen where Vextrol waited. "Commander, do you have warriors who can join a boarding party?" "Yes, Captain. My best fighters are ready." "Good. Here's my plan. The Defiant will approach using the route you provided. Once in position, we'll launch a targeted strike to disrupt their systems. During the confusion, 2 teams will board the station. My team will rescue the human scientists. Your team can free any Krell prisoners they're holding." Vextrol nodded his large head. "A sound plan. But be warned, Captain. The Concord facilities are designed to self-destruct rather than fall into enemy hands." "Then we'll need to be quick," Blackwood said grimly. As they approached the station, Blackwood gathered his boarding team. Security Officer Kelly, Dr. Washington, and 2 security personnel. Each wore light armor and carried both weapons and medical supplies. "Remember," Blackwood told them, "our priority is getting our people out alive. Avoid conflict where possible, but don't hesitate if necessary." The Defiant slipped through the final sensor gap. the massive research station now visible on their screens. It hung in space like a giant crystal snowflake, beautiful and deadly. "All hands to battle stations," Blackwood ordered. "Boarding teams to the shuttle bay. We go in 5 minutes." Ambassador William Chen stood before the Virax delegation, his face calm despite the tension in the room. This was his third meeting with the aliens, and each one had been worse than the last. "The Earth Council has considered your proposal," Chen said carefully. "We request more time to prepare our people for such a significant cultural change." The lead Virax, Supreme Arbiter Zex, made a sharp clicking sound with his small mouth. "There is no more time, human. Your species has been evaluated and found wanting. You have 2 options. Accept rehabilitation or face quarantine." "Quarantine?" Chen asked, though he already knew what it meant. "Your system will be sealed off. No ships in or out. Your species can remain in its violent state, confined to its home system until you evolve or destroy yourselves." On the other side of Virax space, the U.S. Defiant slipped silently through the darkness, its experimental cloaking system active. Captain Blackwood stood on the bridge, watching the main screen as it showed a Virax patrol ship passing nearby. "They don't see us," Lieutenant Rodriguez confirmed, monitoring the communications array. "Their scanners are active, but we're invisible to them." "Keep us on course," Lieutenant Ortiz, Blackwood ordered. "How long until we reach the research station?" 6 hours at current speed, Captain." The door to the bridge slid open, and Security Officer Maria Kelly entered. "Captain, we've intercepted a new transmission from Earth. Ambassador Chen's diplomatic mission has failed. The Virax have issued an ultimatum." Blackwood frowned. "Show me." The screen changed to show Ambassador Chen's grim face as he reported to Earth. The Virax had given humanity 2 choices: submit to rehabilitation or face complete isolation from the galaxy. "They're already moving ships into position around our solar system," Chen reported. "They call it a quarantine, but it's really a blockade." As the message ended, the bridge was silent. Finally, Blackwood spoke. "This changes nothing. Our mission remains the same. Rescue our people and gather intelligence." "Sir," Rodriguez called out, "I'm picking up a transmission from the research station. It's a broadcast." The main screen flickered to show the interior of the Virax facility. Dr. Powell and other human scientists were visible, seated in strange chairs with devices attached to their heads. A female scientist tried to rise from her chair, pulling at the devices. "I won't watch anymore," she shouted. "You can't erase who we are." A Virax stepped into view. Dr. Carol Fisher continues to resist rehabilitation. This is the inevitable result of human aggression. The Virax pressed a control, and Dr. Fisher screamed, her body convulsing. Then she went still, her eyes open but empty. "The specimen has been terminated," the Virax announced. "The others will continue their rehabilitation." The broadcast ended. On the bridge of the Defiant, no one spoke for several moments. "They killed her," Ortiz whispered. "Just like that." Blackwood's face was hard as stone. "Lieutenant Rodriguez, was that broadcast sent across all Concord channels?" "Yes, sir. It appears to be a warning to other species." "Or a message to us," Blackwood said. "Engineer Delgado, I want maximum power to the engines. Lieutenant Ortiz, recalculate our course. Most direct route to the station." "That will take us through a patrol zone," Ortiz warned. "I know, but time just became more critical than stealth." Blackwood turned to Chief Morgan. "Prepare all weapons systems. If we're spotted, I want to be ready." "Sir," Kelly interjected, "our orders were to avoid direct conflict." "Our orders were to rescue our people," Blackwood corrected. "We just watched one of them die. I won't lose any more." As the Defiant increased speed, a small alert appeared on Rodriguez's console. "Captain, I'm detecting another transmission. But it's not Virax. It's using different protocols. Can you decode it?" "Working on it." After a moment, Rodriguez looked up in surprise. "Sir, It's from another ship, also hiding from the Virax. They identify themselves as the Krell, and they say they want to help us. The Krell. Dr. Washington moved closer. The Virax mentioned them in their historical records. Another species marked for rehabilitation. Put them through, Blackwood ordered. It seems we might have found an ally. Captain Blackwood stood in the massive underground hangar, looking up at the U.S. Defiant. The ship was unlike any he had seen before, sleeker, with strange blue patterns running along its dark hull. It looked both human and alien at the same time. "Beautiful, isn't she?" said a voice behind him. A stocky man with grease-stained hands approached. Frank Delgado, chief engineer. Blackwood shook the man's hand. "She doesn't look like our usual ships." "That's because she's not," Delgado said with pride. "We took Dr. Powell's data on Virax technology and applied what we could understand. The blue lines are a new type of energy system based on their crystalline tech." Admiral Ellis joined them, accompanied by a tall woman with sharp eyes. "Captain, this is Dr. Olivia Washington, our Xenop psychologist. She's been studying the Virax culture from the limited data we have." "Captain," Dr. Washington nodded. "The Virax value order above all else. Their entire society is built on eliminating chaos and unpredictability. Which is why they fear us," Blackwood said. "Humans are nothing if not unpredictable." "Exactly," she replied. "To them, we're a virus that could spread through the galaxy." Admiral Ellis led them to a conference room where several people waited. "Your senior crew, Captain, hand-picked for this mission." A woman with short black hair stood first. "Lieutenant Sandra Ortiz, navigation officer. I studied the star charts from Virax space." Next was a tall man with broad shoulders. "Chief Sam Morgan, weapons specialist. I've been working with Engineer Delgado to integrate the alien tech into our weapons systems." The introductions continued around the table. When they finished, Blackwood addressed the room. "Our mission is simple but nearly impossible. We need to rescue our people from a technologically superior alien force without starting a war that could end humanity." He pulled up a hologram of Virax space. "We have the element of surprise. The Virax think humans are predictable and primitive. We're going to prove them wrong." "How do we find the hostages?" asked Lieutenant Ortiz. Dr. Washington stepped forward. "Based on their cultural patterns, the Virax would take valuable specimens to a central research facility. We believe that's here." She pointed to a space station orbiting a red giant star. "What's our approach?" Morgan asked. "We can't outgun their fleet." Blackwood smiled slightly. "We won't try to. Engineer Delgado, tell them about our secret weapon." Delgado activated a display showing the ship's hull. "The Defiant has a hybrid cloaking system based on Virax sensor technology. They won't see us coming because we'll be hiding using their own tech against them." "That's only theoretical," Admiral Ellis cautioned. "It hasn't been fully tested." "We'll test it in the field," Blackwood said confidently. "What about communications?" A young man with glasses spoke up. "Lieutenant Alan Rodriguez, sir. I've devised a way to intercept and decode their transmissions. We should be able to listen in without them knowing." Blackwood nodded, studying the star chart again. "We'll need a precise course through their territory, avoiding major patrol routes." "I've already plotted several options," Ortiz said, bringing up navigation plans. "This route is longest, but has the lowest chance of detection." "Good," Blackwood said. "Dr. Washington, I want you to prepare a cultural briefing for the whole crew. We need to understand how these aliens think." As the meeting continued, a woman entered and handed Admiral Ellis a message. His face darkened as he read it. "The Virax have sent another communication," he announced. "They've broadcast footage of our scientists. The Virax are calling it cultural reprogramming." He played the video. The humans watched in silence as Dr. Powell and the other scientists were shown in cells, forced to watch images while strange devices were attached to their heads. "They're breaking them," Dr. Washington said quietly, "trying to erase what makes them human." Blackwood turned to his crew, his eyes hard. We launch in 48 hours. Every minute counts. After the meeting, Blackwood stood alone, staring at the Defiant. Admiral Ellis joined him. Having doubts, Ryan? No, Blackwood said. Just thinking about what we're facing. These aliens want to eliminate us because they fear what we might become. Ellis nodded. Ironic that they might force us to become exactly what they fear. Or, Blackwood said, we could show them something they don't expect from violent primitives. Mercy, creativity, courage. Just make sure you bring our people home, Ellis said. Count on it, Blackwood promised. One way or another. Back on Earth, the United Earth Council gathered in their circular chamber. 12 men and women sat around a large table, their faces grim. The room was silent except for the soft hum of air systems. Admiral Peter Ellis stood at the front, pointing to images from the Horizon's transmissions. The diplomatic mission has failed. The Virax detained Commander Grant and her team for 6 hours before releasing them back to the Horizon. They learned that the Virax are part of a larger group called the Galactic Concord, and this Concord eliminates species they deem too violent. Asked Chairwoman Michelle Reeves, a tall woman with silver hair. Yes, according to Commander Grant's report, they've wiped out 23 civilizations already. General Lisa Carter slammed her hand on the table. We need to mobilize our fleet immediately. Our fleet would be no match for their technology. Admiral Ellis replied. The Horizon barely made it back to our space. They were followed by Virax scouts the entire way. A thin man with intense eyes stood up from his seat at the far end of the table. Intelligence Officer Eric Howard rarely spoke at these meetings, which made everyone pay attention when he did. There's more, Howard said, placing a data chip on the table. I've analyzed all our intelligence, plus the data Dr. Powell sent before communications were cut. The Concord has a pattern. They find developing civilizations, judge them, and if they're deemed too aggressive, they're eliminated before they can build significant space capabilities. But we already have space travel, said Councilman Joe Rivera. Basic space travel, Howard corrected. We can reach nearby stars, but we're decades behind the Concord. To them, we're just starting to become a potential threat. Chairwoman Reeves rubbed her temples. Options. Admiral Ellis stepped forward. We continue diplomatic efforts. Show them we're peaceful. While they hold our scientists hostage and prepare to judge our entire species, General Carter scoffed. We need to show strength. Actually, Howard said, both approaches may be necessary. He activated a hologram showing a ship design. This is the U.S. Defiant, our most advanced warship, equipped with technologies based on Dr. Powell's data transmissions. The council members leaned forward to study the sleek, dangerous-looking vessel. It's still experimental, Admiral Ellis cautioned. But it's our best chance, Howard argued. We use diplomatic channels as cover while we prepare the Defiant for a rescue mission. If diplomacy works, great. If not, we're ready. Who would command such a mission? Councilman Rivera asked. The room fell silent. Admiral Ellis sighed. There's only one person with the tactical mind for this kind of operation, Captain Ryan Blackwood. Several council members groaned. Blackwood was a touchy subject. The same Captain Blackwood who disobeyed direct orders during the Mars colony crisis. General Carter asked. Yes, Ellis admitted, but he saved 30,000 lives by doing so. And sank his career, Reeves added. He's been flying a desk for the past 3 years, Ellis said, but he's still the best tactical mind we have. Howard nodded. The Virax won't expect us to risk a military operation. They think we're primitive and predictable. Blackwood is neither. Chairwoman Reeves stood, signaling the end of debate. Very well. Admiral Ellis, continue diplomatic efforts through official channels. Meanwhile, prepare the Defiant and recall Captain Blackwood. This operation stays completely secret. If the Virax realize what we're doing, they might accelerate their timetable. As the council members filed out, Howard approached Reeves. "There's one more thing you should know, Madam Chairwoman. According to the data we recovered, the Concorde doesn't just eliminate species. Sometimes they rehabilitate them through forced cultural reprogramming. They might be planning this for us." Reeves' face hardened. "Not while I'm Chairwoman. Get Blackwood." 2 hours later, a transport arrived at a remote research station in Alaska. A man looked up from his desk as the door opened. Captain Ryan Blackwood was still fit despite 3 years behind a desk. His dark eyes showed both intelligence and a hint of defiance. "Captain Blackwood," Admiral Ellis said, "Earth needs you." Blackwood raised an eyebrow. "Must be desperate if you're coming to me." "More than you know. How soon can you be ready?" Blackwood stood, already reaching for his uniform jacket. "For a real command. I was ready 3 years ago." The U.S. horizon cut through the darkness of space, its sleek form designed to appear non-threatening. Commander Grant stood on the bridge, watching the stars streak by as they approached Virax territory. Lieutenant Winters worked at a nearby console, studying alien language patterns. "We'll reach the border in 20 minutes, Commander," said Navigator Sandra Ortiz, her fingers moving quickly over the controls. Grant nodded. "Take us out of faster-than-light travel 5 minutes before the border." We approached slowly, with all weapons powered down. "You really think they'll talk to us?" Winters asked, looking up from his work. "They have to, if we want our people back alive." The ship slowed as it neared Virax space. Grant smoothed her uniform and turned to Diplomatic Officer Diane Russell, a woman with calm eyes and steady hands. "Diane, you're up. Remember, we're peaceful explorers seeking understanding." Russell nodded. "I've prepared several greeting options based on what we learned from Dr. Powell's data." The main screen lit up, showing a vast stretch of stars with a faint line of buoys marking Virax territory. Beyond them, 3 ships waited, their crystalline hulls shimmering like cut diamonds. "They're already here," Grant said quietly. "They knew we were coming." "Commander," called the communications officer, "we're receiving a transmission." On screen, the image shifted to show an alien face. The Virax had blue-gray skin, large eyes, and no visible nose. Its mouth was small and precise when it spoke. "Human vessel, you have reached the boundary of Concorde space. State your purpose." Russell stepped forward. "I am Diplomatic Officer Diane Russell of Earth. We come in peace to discuss the situation at Outpost 7 and the return of our scientists." The Virax's eyes narrowed. "Your kind has been evaluated and found potentially destructive. The specimens we collected will help us determine the proper course of action regarding your species." "Specimens," Winters muttered, anger flashing across his face. Grant raised a hand to silence him. "Our scientists are not specimens. They are people with rights, and we request their immediate return." "Your concept of rights is noted," the Virax said coldly. "The Galactic Concorde has protocols for dealing with aggressive species. We have studied your transmissions. Your entertainment broadcasts show constant warfare and violence." Russell tried again. "Those are fictional stories, not representations of our daily lives. Humans are peaceful explorers. We observe your historical records as well," the Virax interrupted. "Your species has engaged in constant warfare. The Concorde cannot risk allowing such behavior to spread among the stars." Grant stepped forward. "We request a meeting to discuss this misunderstanding. Surely your Concorde values communication and understanding." The Virax seemed to consider this. "You may approach and dock with our diplomatic vessel. No more than 3 representatives. No weapons." The screen went dark. "It's a trap," said Security Chief Maria Kelly from her station. "Probably," Grant agreed. "But it's our only way to learn more about what we're facing and possibly locate our people." Grant turned to Russell and Winters. "You two are with me. Maria, if we're not back in 3 hours, your orders are to return to Earth immediately with all the information we've gathered." As they prepared to board the shuttle, Winters checked a small device hidden in his sleeve. "Universal translator," he explained. "But I've modified it to record everything we hear, including background conversations they might not realize we can understand. The shuttle journey was tense and silent. As they approached the Virax ship, Grant was struck by its beauty, like a massive crystal sculpture floating in space. "Look at the size of that thing," Russell whispered. "Their technology is incredible." Inside the Virax ship, they were led through gleaming corridors to a round chamber. 3 Virax waited, seated at a crescent-shaped table. "Welcome to the Concord," said the center figure. "I am Arbiter Zex. You are here to be evaluated." "We're here to negotiate the return of our people," Grant corrected firmly. "First, you must understand your situation," Zex replied. A hologram appeared, showing a map of the galaxy with hundreds of points of light. "The Concord maintains peace among 57 species. We have eliminated 23 potentially destructive civilizations before they could threaten galactic harmony." Grant felt her blood run cold. This wasn't diplomacy. This was a sentencing hearing. Commander Allison Grant stood at the viewport of Earth Defense Fleet headquarters, watching the stars. Her reflection showed tired eyes. She hadn't slept well in days. The tension across the base was thick enough to cut with a knife. "Commander," called a voice behind her. "Urgent transmission from Outpost 7. Grant turned and nodded to the young communications officer. "Put it through to my office." In her small practical office, Grant activated the secure channel. The screen flickered to life, showing a man with disheveled hair and fear in his eyes. Static cut through the image. "Dr. Powell, what's your situation?" Grant asked, recognizing the lead scientist. "They came without warning," Powell said, his voice breaking up. "We thought the meeting went well, but something changed. The Virax. They've taken hostages. They think we're a threat." "Slow down, Kevin. What happened with the Virax? You reported first contact was peaceful." Powell looked over his shoulder. "It was at first. We shared cultural information, but when they saw our military history, something changed. They called us potentially destructive. Said Earth needs to be evaluated." The transmission crackled. "They've seized the outpost. Most of my team is in custody. Are you safe?" "For now. I'm hidden in the backup communications room. They don't know about it yet." He typed frantically on a keyboard. "I'm sending you everything we've learned about their tech and biology. Their ships have a weakness in there." The image froze. "Dr. Powell." "Kevin." Grant called. The image returned, shakier than before. "They're coming. Listen, their society eliminates what they call aggressive species. They think humans are too violent to join the galactic community." A loud bang sounded through the speakers. "The data is sending now. Get it to Earth. And please, come for my people." The transmission cut to black. Grant slammed her fist on the desk. "Get me Admiral Cooper." 30 minutes later, Grant stood in the Fleet Command Center, surrounded by senior officers. Admiral Cooper's weathered face was grim as the recording of Powell's message played for the group. The data package made it through before their communications went dark. Grant explained when the recording ended. "Our scientists are analyzing it now. So these Virax make first contact, decide they don't like us, and take our people hostage." Colonel Jenkins said, his face reddening. "We should send in the Marines." Admiral Cooper raised a hand for silence. "Let's not rush to a war with an unknown alien species. Commander Grant, what do we know about their capabilities?" "Early analysis suggests they're about 50 years ahead of us technologically, sir. But Dr. Powell's data includes some promising vulnerabilities in their shielding systems." A science officer stepped forward. "The data shows they use a crystalline-based technology, unlike anything we've seen. It's powerful, but potentially unstable under certain conditions." Cooper nodded slowly. "Commander Grant, I'm putting you in charge of a rescue operation. Take the U.S. Dauntless. Your mission is to recover our people without starting an interstellar war." "Yes, sir," Grant said, straightening her uniform. "I'm assigning Lieutenant Jack Winters to your team. He's our best linguist and has special forces training." Grant nodded, though she didn't like having someone assigned without her input. "One more thing," Cooper said, his voice deadly serious. "The Security Council is worried. If these Virax truly eliminate aggressive species, Earth could be in danger. Your mission is to rescue the hostages and gather intelligence, but avoid open conflict if possible. We need time to prepare." Grant left the briefing room with her orders and a growing sense of dread. In the corridor, she found a man waiting, tall, with alert eyes that missed nothing. "Lieutenant Jack Winters," he said, extending his hand. "Ready when you are, Commander." Grant shook his hand firmly. "Hope you pack light, Lieutenant. We leave for Outpost 7 in 3 hours. And if what Dr. Powell said is true, we may be humanity's first line of defense against an enemy that wants to wipe us out."